Hey y'all, I was reading in Psalms the other day, and Psalm 33 specifically, and I got to verse 4, and it says, God works in his faithfulness. And I stopped at those words. I had to think about that phrase and what that phrase meant. And as I meditated on that phrase longer and longer, it just helped me think about how everything that God does, God's works, are governed by his faithfulness. He works according to his faithfulness. And I was thinking about how many times I've asked the question, God, what are you doing? What's going on? I don't understand. And sometimes I'll ask that question out of excitement, like, God, this is amazing. What are you doing here? I can't wait to see what you're going to do. And then other times I ask the question out of just sadness or just grief or burdened. God, what are you doing? Why is it turning out this way? I don't understand. In Jeremiah, God tells us to call to him and he'll answer us and tell us great and unsearchable things that we don't understand. And there are times where we can ask God and he will tell us what he's doing. We're encouraged to ask him, God, what are you doing here? What do I need to be aware of? And God will answer. But there are other times where we may not understand what God's doing. We may have no clue. And as I was thinking about these words in Psalms, I thought about, I don't necessarily have to know everything that God's doing. Because the one thing that I do know, the one thing that remains constant, the one thing that I can always rely on is God's faithfulness. You see, there's a point where I believe that we have to grow in trusting God's love for us. No matter what I do, and I don't just say this, I think we hear this often as some kind of religious mantra. Oh, God loves me. Well, why? Because the Bible tells me so. But we really have to get to a point where we understand, no, it's true. God really does love me. And I may not understand what he's doing. I may not get it. It may not make any sense. But the one thing that I can count on is that because of God's love for me, I can rely on his faithfulness. I can rely on this may not turn out for my good. It may not be what I expected as good, but God's faithfulness trumps my understanding. And I can rely on his faithfulness and his love for me that while I may not understand what's going on, ultimately, it is because he's drawing me closer to him. And I am learning how to trust him every day. And so I want to encourage you that as you may not understand what's going on right now, you may not understand what God is doing, your life may seem to be unraveling. I don't know the situation. Maybe your life's going great, and that's awesome. Regardless of the fact of how your life may be going and whether you understand what God's doing or not, I just want to encourage you. God is faithful. God cannot deny himself. God cannot be unfaithful. That's part of his character. And you can rejoice regardless of the situation. You can always rejoice in the fact that God loves you. And he will always be faithful to you. I just wanted to share that. Hopefully that, again, is encouraging. Maybe that will challenge you right now as whatever season you're going through. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.